The situation in the east of the Ukraine, well over 1 million internally displaced people, many in need of humanitarian aid, a scarcity of food, shelter and medicine in places hit hard by the war. I understand it's not exactly straightforward or simple for people who have been displaced by the war, people who have fled their homes, to receive internally displaced person status. Folks have to register with the Ukrainian Social Protection Department, which is apparently a lengthy process. Students and kids not accompanied by guardians can't register, and people who flee a home which is destroyed, but they don't flee to a different administrative area, they stay in the same area, these people can't achieve IDP status, and thus they can't receive benefits from the state and other groups. It's so often people who get caught in the middle of conflicts who suffer the most, isn't it? History remembers politicians, warmongers, but everyday folk, civilians, their names, faces, their lives, their individuality gets rubbed out, just becomes statistics or estimates, grouped in the thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands or even millions. Reading words on a page or a laptop is one thing, but as the saying goes, a picture tells 1,000 words. I urge people to look at photo documentation and video footage of the conflict in eastern Ukraine. Look at people's faces. Look at their eyes. Next item. Israel's parliament has passed a new law with a narrow majority, giving jailers the ability to force-feed prisoners on hunger strike. Now, internal opposition to this new law has come not only from Israeli MPs, but from Israel's Medical Association. The law applies to all prisoners, but who is this law really aimed at, I ask? We know that Palestinian prisoners, some of them, have used hunger strikes as a protest against being locked up, jailed without trial or formal charges. I think this Israeli government is worried about Palestinian prisoners who die on hunger strike in an Israeli prison. It's likely to cause further tension, more violence. Yeah. So it's a security concern from the Israeli perspective. What of bodily sovereignty? What of the rights of the prisoner? Yeah. I'm not surprised this legislation got through. I don't know about you, but I'm not surprised. Provided a prisoner is capable of forming an unimpaired and rational judgment, force-feeding is prohibited by the Declaration of Tokyo 1975, Declaration of the World Medical Association. Force-feeding programs at Guantanamo Bay have been well documented, in spite of condemnation from medical professionals the world over. Yeah. Please go and read the Tokyo Declaration if you haven't already, folks. One final note, a final news story. There's been a recent spike in murders in the Central American country of El Salvador, country crippled by violence and bloodshed. Gangs and guns, yeah. Most people agree this recent spike is gang-related. Violence is nothing new here. The gangs accuse the police of human rights abuses. The police are saying there are no death squads here, no state-sponsored death squads. Yeah. Who would want to be a police officer in El Salvador? Who's hunting who here? Is it the police hunting the gangs, or the gangs hunting down the cops? The month of June was the month with the highest number of homicides since 1992, when the Civil War ended in this country. The numbers were lower this month, which many say is testament to the power of the gangs. They are trying to send a message because they want to negotiate with the government. So the narrative goes. Yeah. How do you stop the cycles of brutality?